So as we began, let us deepen. Today we were letter writing, so we're writing a letter that will come back to you late in the year. We write essentially our heart's desire, but we're going to do this in several stages. So the first stage here is really simple. You just got to write down what you want. It's kind of like simple. What do you want? What's on the surface or what's on present for you at this moment? We might make this letter more meaningful, more purposeful if we changed it somewhat. Rather than a wish list of what I'd like to see happen this year, that we went a little deeper. Now, most of my list, and maybe if you've done this in the past and you've noticed that your list really comes out of lack, or at least I'll speak for myself. So this lack, it wasn't, I didn't write down, I don't want to feel poor, but I said, here's what I'd like this amount of income, I'd like this, etc., that sort of thing. But the reason I wanted that was because I was feeling this. Are you with me? So that's really, in truth, the motivation behind the things I put at the end on the paper were really out of lack. And so we're not coming at it exactly the right way, I think, when we do it that way. And essentially what we really want is what's underneath. What I'd like you to do right now is to look at it and see what you really want. Because what you really want is what we're really after. I want to read you a quote from the Upanishads, ancient text out of India. It says, "You are what your deepest desire is. As your desire is, so is your intention. As your intention is, so is your will. As your will is, so is your deed. As your deed is, so is your destiny." So we're looking now for the deepest desires. And we want to go to that place now. If you'll take a few moments, you can contemplate what you've written down and see. One way to do it is to see what you're running, what these are a cure for, what these are a correction, the core of what your life is about, essentially. What is it you're really looking to have be true for you in this lifetime? So if you have a sense of that, then this next phase should be fun. Because what we're going to do now is imagine what it would be like to be already fully embodying or experiencing that which your heart's deepest desire is. So we'll come back to my simple example about money. If it was about security, then I would, in this next phase, what I'd like you to do is embody the ideal of security, however that comes, however it would feel to you, where you would feel it in your body, how you would picture it out in the world, what you would do, what you would say, the whole vibratory experience, the whole visual experience, the doing, the words that would go with it, as many ways as you can anchor the outcome that you really, really want. Let me start with this background thought. That essentially the I, the one that keeps saying I and has our preferences and wants what we want and don't like some things and prefer the world was one way rather than the other. This I is a small part of who we are. It's not the biggest part. The soul or the presence or the being of who we are is a much grander, bigger thing than this I. This I going through this life is going through a series of transformations as it unfolds, and sometimes the lessons that the I learn come with a great deal of discomfort. That we can take whatever is happening or has happened to us, and if we can love inside that experience, then we transform the little rascal into something more like the rest of you, more like the greater part of you. And so that greater part of you has more chances for expression in this world. And the method for doing that is to love whatever arises. If you're upset, love that. If you're happy, love that. If you're confused, love that. If you're clear and on purpose, love that. And it takes you to the next step in the evolution of this little rascal, right? If you can love whatever is happening, because the whole of life is a journey helping this little rascal become the one presence and the one power. So that God can be made manifest where you stand, evident where you stand, alive and well and influencing the world. Where you can't love where you are because you can't love yourself, then love where you are that you can't love yourself. And just keep stepping back until you get perspective on what's happening, and that you can love. And so you come to with your whole self to every moment as best you can to bring love to it. And when that's not good enough, then you step back and you give love to the fact that you can't do it. So the method is really just to keep your heart open to the best of your ability, no matter what's happening, and to find love in that situation. It's not about correcting your behavior, it's about transformation, which is far more valuable than just getting it right the next time. The body will be most receptive, most happy, most healthy in a sea of love versus a sea of criticism. The mind will find its new equilibrium at a higher level if you're in a state of love versus a state of criticism. You need to be able to say to yourself, I love you. You need to be able to say to the circumstances, I love you. To the pain, I love you. To the anger, I love you. To say it to where the affirmation you hear the most in your head is I love you. And the feeling you get most in your body is love. This is the pathway to transformation. Practice loving ourselves is that so that we might unfold the divinity that is in us, that is us, and let it be made manifest as us by loving ourselves.